Hi all, Ross here, Thomas Classic and Modern. Welcome back to the channel. Here we go with the third and final part, or final breakdown should I say, of our lengthy ball joint video. This section deals with fitting our newly prepared ball joints to the hubs and how we go about adjusting them and making sure that they are correct. So here we go. So we've got our now painted hub in the vise, held on the caliper retaining ears. That's how I like to do them. Some people hold them on this and everything else, but I've never had an issue doing it that way, so that's the way I've always done it. So all I've done now is I've refitted our lock tabs with some new grease nipples. We're now going to get on with fitting our ball joint. So take one of our now matched pairs of ball joints. I like to put a small smear of grease on the cup first of all, the seat. Pop that in place, like so. And then we take our shims. How I like to start doing these is I take the two thinnest, one of the medium, and one of the thickest. Pop them in place with the thinnest ones out. And I'll tell you why we do that now. Because this is an adjustment procedure, this is probably going to end up coming on and off like a hose draws. Sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you get it first trial, sometimes you don't. Little dab of grease on the seat and a little dab of grease around the outside there. Pop that into place. This is where you have to be careful. How I like to do this is hold the ball joint like so. So you're holding the cup in one hand and the pin in another. Push the pin up against the seat so that you know you are holding that seat in the recess we discussed earlier on. And then with your other hand, wind down the domed nut. When you get so far down, you'll feel it pick up generally on the pin. Oh, there we go. And then torque that nut up. Some people just tighten this up and then check it. I never do. I always torque it. What's the point in just nipping that up, going, yeah, that's fine, then torquing it and it changes it? So always torque that up. And the torque for that big dome nut is 102 Newton meters, which is there. Again, make sure that the pin is in the middle of the socket. Jammed up solid. Way too tight means we need more shims. As we have lapped in these parts and matched them to each other, having more shims in situ is actually a very good thing, because you've already taken out any high spots, etc., while you've done the lapping in process. So in theory, you've taken out a certain amount of mileage, if you like, of these ball joints out of the package, which means that the more shims you fit, the more adjustment you have in the future. Because obviously to tighten these ball joints back up in the future, should you need them, you need to remove shims. So if you've got plenty of shims in there, you've got much more adjustment for the future. Now this is all of the shims that come in the packet. Still going to be a bit too tight. Now that's torqued. So, next question. How do we determine whether it's too tight or it's too loose? Lots of people say, oh, push it with your thumb, you know, and this, that, and the other. I might have stronger thumbs than you. You might not have a thumb. I don't know. So, what's the, by and large, way to do it? I take a 9/16 spanner, drop it over the ring, and if I can move that ball joint without absolutely honking on it, yeah, that, in my eyes, is absolutely spot on. Full range of movement, no tight spots. Bearing in mind that you've only got in there the little bit of smear of grease that I put in there. That is spot on. Moves absolutely lovely. And that is torqued. So that is done. That is fine. That is torqued up. That is how it is. It's not going to bed in too much because obviously we've already lapped it in. There's no grease in there. So a little bit of grease in there now when we fill it full of grease. Spot on. So all I do now, just recheck that the torque is correct. Spot on. Knock the lock tabs over. That one is done. But what we now need to do is, as I just said, I've only done the upper ball joint there and I'm now out of shims. So when you come to do your ball joints, don't throw away the old shims. We are now going to need to go through our old shims, clean them up, make sure we got a good mixture of sizes of shims, some thick, some thin, so on and so forth, and then we need to do the bottom one. I'll now knock that lock tab over. I'll pop the boot and the nut on the top of it so I know it's all done. I'm going to spin this round in the vise so it's easier for you to see, and then we're going to do the bottom one. Lock tabs, another important thing. Do not knock all of this lock tab up against that nut. Not the right way to do it. How I like to do it is I do two opposites if I can. Now as this one has fallen, this flat is right towards the back, so that's absolutely fine. So we shall knock that one over. Knocked over good and proper. And then I'm going to do the exact opposite, which is just inside down there with the steering arm. I'm going to get a start on it with a pair of water pump pliers because there's not much room in there, and just pull it up. There we go. And that's it. So two opposite flats locked over. The grease nipple stops that lock tab turning anyway. So there's an ear down there that the grease nipple sits in, which you can see on the other side. The two flats on the top stop the domed nut turning. Rightio. So, top ball joint done, sorted, happy with that. Bottom ball joint, virtually the same until the last assembly. And by that I mean the bottom ball joint has this spring assembly. Now this spring goes in the hub, down the bottom, underneath the seat. You do not adjust this ball joint with the spring in place. And that also goes for if you're readjusting the ball joint. So let's say, for instance, you had a bottom ball joint with a little bit of play in it for the MOT and you wanted to readjust it. You have to take this spring out to adjust it. This spring will give you a completely false reading. So always do any adjustments or any setup like this with this spring out. And then don't forget to fit the spring after you've got your ball joint how you want it. That is a little bit loose. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Nice, easy range of movement. But you have to now take that back apart to put the spring in. So, a little bit more care needed here now when you come to do this. So, get the spring ready. Need to make sure that when you take this cup off, you don't take any of the shims off, that they're not stuck to the bottom of the cup or anything like that, which they're not. You now need to take the seat back out, and then you need to add the spring. So the spring now goes in, and this is where people can get problems, because as you can see, or you might be able to see, that spring now is sat quite proud. There's quite a lot of tension on that spring when you get it fitted. You have to make sure now that this seat sits in its recess. There's only a very small amount of the recess left now for that seat to go in. So that is in the seat. You then need to make sure, and this is why I do this with the pin, you need to make sure that the pin is pushing against that seat to hold it in situ. So you're up against the tension of the spring. Sometimes you can push against it and feel that little bit of spring. And then wind your dome nut back on. And you will find, if you're holding the pin, you'll find that when you're winding the dome nut back on, just like that, it'll start to grip the pin very early, because now you're up against the spring tension. Then retorque it. Done. And just recheck, and you'll probably find now it feels a little bit tighter, because obviously you've got the spring slightly pushing against that, yeah, which it is, which is absolutely fine. As long as you can still move it, you know, when you're moving it without honking on it and everything else. That is spot on. Happy with that. Just recheck the torque. And then knock the lock tab over on that one. In this case, I will go with this front one here, near the disc face, and the one dead opposite it. We are done. On with the rubber, on with the nut and washer. I only do that as a matter of course, so I know my process is done. I know once everything is fitted, that is done and sorted. So there we go. I think we shall leave that there now. That is our way of doing ball joints. Hope you find it useful. By all means, fire down in the comments if you think there's something wrong with that, or you do it differently. More than happy to hear. As I say, I've been doing it that way now for a number of years, never had any issues. As you saw when we first stripped this, that is how those ball joints were done all of those years ago, and even then the bottom one was still in fine fettle. Top one would have just adjusted going by the number of shims in it. But as I say, I've taken the opportunity to show you how we go about doing it from start to finish. Our next little bit now, which we'll do separately, will be wheel bearing. So we'll do a separate video now on fitting the wheel bearing assembly, and then we'll also encompass in that one rebuilding the drive shaft and getting everything back in place, I think. So as I say, hope you enjoyed that. As always, please give us a like and subscribe. If there is anything that you would like to see a video on and you would find it useful or anything along those lines, please drop us a comment, let us know. We'll try and cover it somewhat. We have a load of videos now hopefully coming out in quite quick succession on running gear repairs such as this. So yeah, look out for those, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks very much.